So what's better than one note? You guessed it, it's two notes. We have a special treat for you guys this week. This week, we're gonna do a deep dive into Two Notes Engineering's software and products. And we're also gonna have an in-depth interview with their US Sales Distribution Manager, Justin Bryant. Stick around while we check out Two Notes Engineering. What's up guys, it's Charlie. I hope everyone's doing well. If you're new here, this is a place where we demo and review all kinds of guitar related equipment and gear. So if you have any special requests, please throw them down in the comment section below and I'll make sure to get to them in upcoming videos. Speaking of upcoming videos, if you hit that bell notification below, you'll be notified of all upcoming content. So this past week, I got to hang out with Justin Bryant, who is Two Notes' US Sales Distribution Manager. Justin is an amazing guitar player and he's very informative on all the Two Notes products. Justin did a great YouTube video on the Two Notes Torpedo Live, and I'll add that link in the description below for you guys to check out. So let's hop on the Long Island Railroad and head over to New York City where we can meet up with Justin for an in-depth interview. All right, so I'm hanging out with Justin Bryant, the director of Two Notes for North America.
Yeah.
That sounds about right?
That's Charlie.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
So we're walking here in New York City doing a little bit of like a guitar safari, guitar shop tour. So how do you like New York City so far?
You know, I think New York City is awesome.
Yeah.
And as I'm looking around, I see a lot of people not too freaked out to get around. So
No, we're pretty resourceful, that's for sure.
the media would tell you that everything's shut down, but right now, man, on a Thursday in March, it's awesome.
Oh yeah. So is Two Notes in New York yet?
You know, I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
We were out here before. We've got some new products, and I think I'm like officially the first United States guy.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just out there showing the new stuff off, and the response has been exceptional so far. And honestly, I think everybody that's heard some of the new stuff has said, yeah, we want to carry it. So far so good.
You must have had like a crazy following over at NAMM.
We did.
Ton of guys coming out.
We did, and well-known stores in the New York City area were quick to notice and had lots of questions. So that's why I'm following up and coming out here and meeting with you too.
Right.
Kind of the initial demand back in January with people were going,
Yeah.
I think we need those. What are
I think
those?
so. Yeah. So what do you got in your hand right there?
Got the brand new Captor X.
Mm-hmm.
And the Captor X is getting a lot of attention lately. And we've got some pretty decent pre-orders on these. And we hope to have them out in the next few weeks. Coronavirus has actually slowed us down a little bit like everybody else. So we were really planning to have these shipped by now, but we were just a few weeks away.
Right.
So yeah, this is our new hot product, and it's
So it's basically like an amp top box.
yeah, I mean, or you know, you could call it an amp top box, but it's it's about 8 inches long and about 2 inches deep, and weighs maybe a couple pounds.
Right.
So
It'll fit on your pedal board if you
can
want.
stick it in your jacket.
Run around the city with it.
Yeah, I've been gigging with one, so I just stick it in my gig bag.
Right.
You know,
Nice.
and it's not obtrusive, and it's light, and it's easy to use.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's nothing like it in the market right now either, which is really cool.
Nice. So what cabinets have you been using live?
I use some of our traditional 2-notes cabinets. We have a library. Got Orange, Celestian, Sir, and we're adding new stuff all the time. So we have a licensing agreement with the companies where we teach them how to do the capture process, and then they send us the files and we compile it with our algorithms, and we put it on our store, and works well for all parties. And something that people get a little bit confused is what an impulse response really is, and what's different about me buying a Celestian 2-notes cab versus buying just an IR response. The way that our software works is any one microphone, you can control the access and you can control the distance.
Right.
And the way that our mathematically how the algorithms and kind of how the secret sauce works is with any one microphone, front and back, you get up to virtually 20,000 different combinations. But before it gets confusing with like that's a staggering number, when I say 20,000, that would be the equivalent if it were just single snap shots of IRs.
Right.
Now, that number's obviously a big one, right? So the whole idea is we take it and you just drag and drop or move the microphones where you want them until it sounds good, and that's all you need to do. So that stops the process of buying like an IR library and going down 6,000 different IRs to try to find the right one.
Right.
Honestly, after you get to about the 5th IR like that, you forget. But yeah, we're trying to make it so you can get your sound. You know, if you use X cabinet with X speaker, we're opening that format up so you know how to get your sound.
Nice. Yeah, I know on like the D20 you have 5 or 6 options on the front dial.
Yes, and it comes with the rev pack in there.
Right. So that's like you're saying, you basically don't need much after that.
No,
Anything
it's really,
else is a custom.
It's a lot of people want to just turn a dial and get their sound quickly. But it goes back to what's your sound, right? If you hear a particular sound, if it's a Celestian vintage 30 in a 4x12 cabinet, and you know what that sound is, and you know what microphone you like, how do you get there the quickest, right?
Mm-hmm. So here's my take on this whole thing. There's a big thing in the community right now as far as modelers versus tube amps, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, this sort of serves that middle ground where you're still using tube amps with an emulation, right? With a cab emulation, but you're still getting that feel and that push of a normal amp.
So that's a great segue. I think of us as like a hybrid tech.
Right.
All the digital to analog conversion happens after the output stages of the amplifier, meaning post-output transformer. We can debate all day long what sounds better, or can you tell a real amp from a modeler? We can debate that all day back and forth. And my take on it is I think that we're so close with some of that stuff that it's very arguable that you can tell the difference. And I think I don't care how good somebody's ears are, they may not be able to A/B through speakers or headphones maybe the difference. The thing I do notice a difference, and I do have several other modelers, is the feel is different. So if you're used to how a certain amp responds and feels, and they all feel different. Some are stiffer, some are more, squishy, and some are, woolly. There's all those words we use, right?
Buttery.
But when you find your sound and your feel, and you find an amp that you really just bond with, I think the modelers they don't have that DNA replication, right? I think they do a good job, and that's even the profiling set. They do a good job of getting the sound. But the feel is definitely something different. And,
Totally.
And I will tell you that pedals and things like that, how they interface with the front of an amplifier, is different for every single amplifier. And I won't go sideways too much, other than somebody asked me the other day, what's the best boost pedal?
Yeah.
It's the best one. So it's got to be a best.
Do you have a favorite?
Right?
Not the best, but do you have a favorite?
So I'll answer that without answering it directly.
Sure.
Saying different guitars and the different amplifiers get different responses.
Right.
And that ties back into kind of what we're talking about, the feel. Certain boosters,
Yeah, 100%.
work great in front of certain amps, and certain guitars and other ones work, different with other ones. There's no perfect, right? It's what's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing that we're trying to do is not transform a market, but we're really trying to say, look, tube amps are still popular, they still sell, they're selling down more than they were several years ago. But what can we do to help the problems inherent? How do you get the sweet spot of an amplifier, but at a controllable watt, right? That's the thing. And if anybody looks around, we were just in Sam Ash, right?
Totally,
How
yeah.
many 412 cabinets do we see in there?
Not too many.
But what sounds like a 412 cabinet?
A 412 cabinet. Exactly.
So we're trying to make a practical solution to still getting that sound, but at a controllable volume.
So I know that you can attenuate this. You can essentially go full blast on a 412, 212, 112, and then you can attenuate it twice. You can do a 20.
So technically 3, but yeah. So the first one you were going with, which is like on our original Captor series, it'll do a 20 dB.
Okay.
20 dB is how you can take like a 100 watt amp or so and get it down to like reasonable gig levels. 20 dB is pretty significant. Say it's going down from 100 dB to 80 dB or 110 dB to 90 dB. I mean, that's how significant 20 dB of true attenuation is. And it really doesn't mess with the feel of it. And then the other setting is a negative 38 dB. And I don't think people really understand what negative 38 dB and say, well, why didn't you do negative 40? Negative 38 dB is like bedroom, almost whisper quiet.
Right.
So
that's for like the apartment player.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's where you can play in any apartment, townhouse, and not get evicted, or your significant other won't throw you out
Yep.
of the place in the morning.
Now, is there a saturation difference in the dB? As far as the attenuation. So if I'm going from the 38, like you're saying, I know the feel is still there, but is there a saturation difference?
So it depends on how you define saturation. And just to be very clear, there's 2 different types of attenuation that we think of. There's passive attenuation, which the Fox has, which is very similar to what most companies offer. And then there's active attenuation. Active attenuation is when you take something and you convert the signal to line level, like our reload does that.
Yep.
The Bryant power station does that, and some other devices. They actually take the signal and they convert it to line level, then they re-amp that original signal back up.
Okay.
So that's active attenuation. And passive attenuation is what most people are using. So the way that works is it's a series of resistors and capacitors to help shape the tone, because when you attenuate, there's a thing called the Fletcher-Munson curve, without getting too much into that, is how frequencies are related to decibel ratings. So the curve of highs and lows and mids change the louder you are. But there's also a more direct phenomena is the speakers being pushed. So a speaker pushing at 60 dB versus 100 dB is completely different with the reaction of how the sound's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So as the cone is driving and the magnets are heating up, you do get a physical change in the tone. So going back to your question of what does that do when you attenuate? Well, obviously we have to compensate for some of those variables. So we do our best to try to EQ out those discrepancies and differences.
Okay.
So we get as close as possible as you can to that original, non-attenuated sound.
Right.
And also to throw another thing in there is you can just completely unplug the speaker cabinet at all, and then you're at 0 dB, right?
Yep. So let's say, like you said, you can EQ it out. You also have the remote software, which offers further sort of tweaking and EQ.
So the
options.
remote software works on any phone, so it doesn't matter if it's an Android or iOS. We're not proprietary to one system or format, but yeah, it's very easy to get in there and move the microphones and adjust the levels, add reverb, and do some kind of post things, and just hit the save button, and it saves it right to the box. You can do it on the fly at a gig or at your house, wherever.
But I don't have to just have that device for that remote software.
No, not at all.
It comes with everything, I think, right?
Yeah. In fact, you can just turn the knob with the 6 settings on front, and probably find something you're going to be happy with there. But we got a couple other features on there too. The voicing knob is kind of like what we would call the vintage to modern. It shifts the mid-range, so you get more of a upfront, in-your-face mid-range, and you get more of a scooped type sound. And it works on some other frequencies too, but it definitely is very mid-heavy or mid-light, I guess I should if you're at a gig and you're close to your sound, just want to make a quick tweak, you just turn that knob. And then our space knob, which is a new feature, is a way to control the reverb. When we have a new stereo reverb algorithm, which sounds exceptional, especially with headphones. So you get the in the room sound. But we also have a new effect called the twin tracker, and the twin tracker is like a doubler. And it controls how loose or tight the doubling is.
Nice.
And it's all stereo, so you plug this into stereo speakers or headphones. It's pretty awesome. But we have a few different ways that we laid it out. So you can get true stereo by going left and right. We can do dual mono. So say you're a gigging player and you want to take one feed to front of house and you want another feed for your monitors or in your mix, you can actually EQ the mixing separately. So if it's a little spiky or harsh in your in-ears, you can pad that down. You can actually feed a different reverb level to it too. So say front of house one, say clean sound without any reverb, great. Say that it's from the mix to 0, and then for your ears or monitors, you can put the reverb in there so it feels comfortable.
So speaking of front of house, I've used the remote, or the Torpedo. I've used that live. Do you have, or have you seen other bands, specifically bigger acts, kind of using this front of house and really stripping down their entire backline?
Yeah, so people use things different ways. We just did a video with Slipknot, who's been a user for a long time, and Mick Thompson and his rig. They did a couple full rig rundowns on those. What we did with him is Mick has an ISO cab that's got 2 microphones on it, and it's a 412 and a big light case. We took another microphone, which is not those 2, and we, Guillaume, who's the CEO, actually when they were in France, profiled that microphone through the cabinet as a 3rd signal. So they blend a combination of all 3, and what's good for them is now they have a choice of 3 different lines, plus it's a failover in case for some reason the lowest speaker or the microphones get moved or whatever. So now they have not only a redundant, but they also have another way to do it. So you can do it for more than just cloning your existing system.
Nice. That's pretty cool. All right. So you said about another month or so these should be available?
We're hoping sooner than that. I'm hoping to get these in the States by the 1st of April. We got tons of people wanting these, and the market's hot. And again, I'm not lying. Everybody that's gotten to hear one of these is going, I want one. I want to hear one.
Yep.
And everybody's going, how does it compare to this? How does it compare to that?
I mean, I've heard it, and I'm definitely astounded by it for sure.
Well, exactly, and that's the kind of thing we're looking for, is a guy like yourself that is a great player and you know what you're looking for. And you're the words I need. I can tell people all day long how much I believe in it, but they need to experience it. I think is really what we're trying to get towards.
Well, I appreciate the interview. It was good walking with you, good talking with you.
Thanks for
everyone saying hi in the background.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
So that's it for this week's episode. If you guys have any questions and comments, make sure you throw them down in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you want to get in touch with me on social media, you can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, be well.